Hi guys, thanks for clicking on the video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to take this mushroom from this to this. So this is the false tinder fungus, or horse's hoof fungus, and you can tell why it gets its name. It looks like a horse's hoof. Part of the Fommes bracket family. They are a polypore bracket, so they've got sporing tubes at the bottom here, as you can see. So humans have been using this mushroom for thousands upon thousands of years for transporting embers and using it for firelighting purposes. It's also a medicinal mushroom, but with this particular one, its primary use when we were hunter-gatherers was to light fires and transport fires from camp to camp. So it does grow all over the northern hemisphere. It's called the horse's hoof fungus. As you can see, it looks like a horse's hoof, really solid and hard on the outside. Yeah, it tends to grow in the UK in particular, favours two particular trees, deciduous trees. So we have the silver birch, like this one here, and also the beech tree, like this one here, and this one. In colder climates, you can see it on the silver birch. Down here in the south of the UK though, it tends to favour big beech trees, which is why some of the ones I've found in this woodland have been pretty different to this one here. This was actually sent over by a friend of the channel, a good guy called Craig. I'll leave the link in the description below for his channel, but it's Pagan Outdoors. Shout out Craig, thank you for this. They're really quite scarce where I am, so as I say, they're quite scarce where I am in the south of the UK. They tend to favour the Midlands or the north, so big thank you to Craig for sorting us out with this. I have found two in this woodland, but again on beech trees, and they've been much flatter brackets with a much thinner trama layer. I'll tell you a bit more about the trama layer in a second. So, as with most things in bushcraft, with a little bit of knowledge, know-how and patience, nature will provide. So the birch tree, the silver birch, as you can see here, has this resinous sort of skin paper bark to it that can be used for catching a spark and for firelighting, but also the birch tree also gives us this hoof fungus, which when the Amadou is processed, which is the middle trama layer, can turn into a fibrous sheet that can catch a spark. So guys, I've got my Fommes Fomentarius, which is the horse's hoof fungus, and I'm going to turn it into a sheet of what we call Amadou, which is this here. So it starts its journey off like this, as the actual bracket fungus growing out of the side of the tree like that, and then hopefully we can turn it into this fibrous sheet, which we call Amadou. I've shown you this on the channel before, you've seen me use it plenty of times in fire steels, flint and steel. And yeah, back in the day when this was found on Rhys the Iceman, some 5,300 years ago, we would have been using pyro and flint, just flint on flint, to catch a spark on this here. You can see how soft it is. It's beautiful. It's like suede. As I say, guys, a little bit of anatomy for you. If we were to cross-section this out here, you've got the cuticle layer, which is this hard, husky outside. And then you've got the sporing tubes, which are the bottom layer, and then this deep brown middle layer, which we call the trama layer, and that's where the Amadou is kept. So, if I show you on this one that Craig sent out, you can see, if I turn it round, that's where it is attached to the birch tree, and then in here is that really, really spongy Amadou layer that we want for firelighting. So here's how you do it. You take your Fommes, you get your knife, and what you want to be doing is just very carefully slicing open that cuticle layer, and we want to try and get just the middle layer separated from the outer husk, which is the cuticle layer, and the sporing tube. So I might chop this in half, process it down, and you'll be able to see a bit. Hopefully this is going to cross section a bit better, and you can see there all three layers. The outside cuticle layer, which is this hard nail of the fungus, the sporing tubes, which are the vertical polypore tubes down here, which is how it reproduces, and then you've got this middle spongy brown layer. So I'm going to take this off, and hopefully be left with just that spongy layer for you. I want to be really careful here to try and only get the cuticle layer and have as much of that Amadou trama layer as possible when processing. So a sharp knife and a steady hand is always beneficial, but you can start to see that now. It's really coming through. You can really see the three layers now. So that's the cuticle layer, that's the trama layer, and then your sporing tubes here. This is going to be quite a nice sheet of Amadou on this one, I think. Let's process it up. You can already see that this is the soft, suedey piece from the mushroom that we want. And that cuticle layer is starting to really strip away now. It's really thin actually, this cuticle layer, which is good because it means that there's a lot of Amadou here. You do need a sharp knife and a steady hand to try and not, you know, only remove the material that you want to remove basically. But yeah, this one's going to be quite good, I think. You can already see how soft and spongy it is, to be honest, and we haven't even boiled it yet. So the process requires a lot of boiling to make it super duper soft, like this stuff here. But you can start to see that already we're exposing that layer, which is what we want. Trying to be really delicate so that we're only removing the material we actually want to remove here, but you can sort of start to see it coming along now. I'm really excited about this one because the last Amadou I tried to process was from one like this, which was much darker, and the trama layer just wasn't as soft, so it didn't go quite as I wanted to, but it still caught a spark, but it wasn't fluffy and light brown like Helen's. So Helen from Beaver Bushcraft is who I normally get my my Amadou from, but thanks to Craig for picking up this wonderful horse's hoof and the others that you see here, because these are way better specimens. So he gave me 4 of them, 3 here, and then the one that I'm processing up now for you. So I'll probably use a couple in demos for festivals and shows and workshops and stuff that I run next summer, but one I'm going to use now and ruin for you so that we can actually get that trama layer processed up into some Amadou that we can hopefully actually use in a week or so. So that's pretty much all of the cuticle layer removed. There's a few little sort of husky hard bits that are really difficult to come off that I'm just gonna maybe scrape away more than anything. I'm not really too fussy about it. I just want to show you the actual process involved and how you can do it. Obviously this is all being used with modern steel equivalents, so modern steel knives and a steel striker for when we get the fire going, but one of these. But you can use primitive methods obviously with flint tools. It just takes way longer. That'll do, I think. I've had enough of it. So we've removed all the cuticle layer, or as much as I could be bothered to do. It's time to remove these sporing tubes. So again with this, I'm just going to go in on it really, sort of almost carve at it really from the bottom. And then once we've got the majority of them off, we will be able to actually cut away. That when you get to this sort of stage, it's almost easier to get your knife actually in there and start to almost prise it away, because the sporing tubes are a bit of a pain to get off. And then also once you've gotten to this stage you can actually flip them over and break it apart like that, and that starts to reveal all of these little channels where you can really either pick them off or actually get your knife in there like so and just get in there a bit better. So this is really starting to come along now. This is the spore side and that's the cuticle side, so we've got all the cuticle layer off. We're just starting to take all these spores off, all these sporing tubes, and we've actually got a pliable, flexible, suede-y piece of material, which is kind of what we wanted. So it's all a stock removal process. As I say, you just got to get to the layer of stock you want, and hopefully with some boiling it will turn from this to this. So now that arduous processing is all out of the way, it's time to actually get a fire on the go, boil this up, boil the sheets of Amadou that I processed up so that they can be as smooth and as silky as the ones from Bushcraft, hopefully. I've actually been chatting to a couple of guys about this lately, legends in the game, and one of which was Donnie Dust from the USA, absolute legend, the king of American bushcraft and paleo in my mind, so go check him out. You guys have probably seen him before, but I was chatting to him and I did promise Donnie that I would try this completely prim and proper flint on flint. I've never done this before. I will use the steel striker as a backup if it doesn't work, but you can actually get them really fibrous, and this is what we call Amadou down. So it's been boiled and boiled and boiled in the lye and the ash of the birch tree. Everything comes from the birch tree, which is great, and you can get them really fluffy like this. So this is what I'm going to try and set alight now, and get a boil on the go. It's very percussive, this method, so it does take a lot of patience. Okay, we're going to steel. And drop it into our bird's nest. So we've got a fire on the go. We've got our Amadou here that we're going to place into the water and boil up. I forgot my gloves because I'm a stupid idiot. But we're going to boil this for a little while, nowhere near as long as you actually need to boil it, but I just wanted to show you the process of how you can do it. I'll just wait for this to boil up. So as it's December, I'm just enjoying the warmth of the fire. It's pretty cold, so I'm just enjoying the warmth, but this is going to be nowhere near as long as you need to boil it for. You need to boil it for hours and hours, so I would normally either do this at home or on a proper open campfire with a tripod that you could keep stoking up, because you need to do it for hours. So we've got a good rolling boil there, and it's starting to really darken up now. As I say, the longer the better with this process, the softer it will get, the longer you boil it for. But as I say, I haven't got my gloves on me, I haven't got a big roaring fire, so I didn't manage to get it going flint on flint. I think I need to hone in my skills a lot more for that kind of thing, but yeah, we managed to get the fire going. Amadou flint and steel. It's still an older method of bushcraft, using again the bracket fungus that you saw today. So it's a really cool way of starting your fires and keeping things traditional, and it's a really rewarding method. So if you haven't tried it before, I'd urge you to give it a go. Yeah, just want to give a little special mention to a couple of people as well. So massive shout out to Ryan, a Wolf's blog. Thank you, buddy. Bought a t-shirt and a patch, still got some available, so just DM me on Instagram and I can get something over to you too. Means the world, so thank you very much. You're always there watching videos and in the comment section, so it means a lot to me. Really appreciate it, mate. And then the second mention I want to give a shout out to is Arnstein. So again, always watches the videos week on week, always in the comment section. It's got a hiking channel, I believe, so check it out. Norway NHT. So Arnstein, shout out to you, buddy. Cheers. And as always, guys, you know I promote a leave no trace policy, so these things from Bushcraft Essentials, the Bushbox XL you've seen me use over the last probably 3 years now, really efficient method of burning. It burns right down to ashes, so there's nothing you need to scatter or burn out. It's, I don't know whether you can see that, but it's got a little air pocket and an ashtray, so that it's as good for the environment as possible. It burns things very efficiently and just leaves ash, so it's a real easy method to leave no trace when you're out in the woods. Just had a nice little robin keep me company, so that was quite cool. He was a cute guy. Just doing a bit of forest bathing now before I pack away, because it's so peaceful and quiet in this wood, and I just love December. I love winter. It's a really, really cool time of year, just to get all cozy and either go for a walk in the forest, get a fire going, or snuggle up indoors. I really hope that you guys are doing well this winter, and yeah, hopefully you're looking forward to Christmas. I wasn't at the Bushcraft Tools Christmas party this year. We were actually away with the family on a really nice sort of holiday Christmas vacation breakaway thing, in a nice lodge in Somerset, so that was really good. But yeah, so I missed out on Dustin's party, but I'm sure there's plenty of drunken wheelbarrow antics for you to check out. But yeah, unfortunately not on this channel. So to all the Bushcraft Tools, the West Country Bushcraft, the Avalon Bushcraft lot, everybody that I know and love in Somerset, from me to you, Merry Christmas. Sorry I missed out, boys and girls, and yeah, hope to catch you soon. As that just dies down, I'm going to show you, this is kind of the finished piece, or at least it will be once we've bored it further and further and further, but you can see it's really starting to ply up now. There's a lot of moisture left in there obviously because we've been boiling it. As you can see, it's still wet, but you can see as it bounces back and dries out, you can see that light brown tan colour, and you can see that it's really fluffy and pliable. It's like leather now, and it will be like suede or cotton wool once we've finished. It's incredible to think that that has come off of one of those in the form of a mushroom, really, as a fungus. So it's incredible. You can see actually with this piece just how fluffy and fibrous it's gone. Really is remarkable. Little hedgehog. Terracotta hedgehog. Brilliant edible. And much like chaga, another mushroom that grows on the side of a birch tree, you're almost left with some tannins, and some menolin and some bitcholin, which are the polysaccharides that live within the bark of the silver birch tree. So actually, once you've done processing up your Amadou, you're left with this little medicinal tea. So might not taste as nice as chaga, but we'll give it a go. It's actually not that bad. Beautiful. It's warming me up for sure. Obviously, if you were to put ash in here and boil it for hours and hours and hours, it wouldn't be quite so sweet, but it's quite nice. I'm going to enjoy this. So, because everything that you saw today came from the wonderful silver birch tree, I think it's, you know, only right that we say thank you to the birch tree. It's a dead standing, as you can see here, but again, really useful materials. Everything that you saw today has come from a birch tree. The twigs for the stove, the Amadou, the horse's hoof fungus. Yeah, so thank you to the great silver birch of Great Britain. So this is all the birch ash that I was talking about that you can put into the boil, into the water for a higher sort of lye solution concentrate, and it will make it really, really fluffy. But as I say, really efficient way to leave no trace. I'm just going to wait for this to go out and then scatter the ashes. Job done. Back from whence it came. There we go. Right guys, that's the end of the video. So I really hope that you've enjoyed that one. If you have, give it a little like below. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you're new to the channel. And without further ado, I'll see you again next week.
Yo. Entering the planet, we were born in 1990. Censoring the damage through the years quite precisely. Peppering the cabbage every day with new rhyme schemes. Venturing the stranded and tired.